The alien armada emerged from a shimmering wormhole, their sleek, ominous vessels forming an imposing blockade around Earth. Captain Jonathan Blake stood on the bridge of the UNS Endeavour, his eyes narrowing as he absorbed the unfolding scene. This was no ordinary threat. It was a full-scale invasion. "Captain, incoming transmission from the United Earth Government," announced Commander Maria Torres, his trusted first officer. Blake nodded, signaling for the holographic display to activate. The image of President Diana Cole materialized, her face etched with concern. "They claim their armada will ensure our compliance," President Cole stated, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. Blake's jaw tightened. Blake's thoughts drifted briefly to his past, to the Zarkan attack that had obliterated his home colony and taken his family. "Commander Torres, gather the senior officers. We need a strategy session immediately," Blake ordered. Dr. Liam O'Connor, the ship's chief engineer, was already discussing potential upgrades to their weapons systems using recently acquired alien technology. "It won't be easy, but if we can integrate this technology, we'll have a fighting chance." Blake nodded, appreciating O'Connor's ingenuity. "We need every edge we can get." He stood before them, projecting confidence and resolve. "We've trained for this, and we will protect our home." The crew responded with a spirited cheer, their morale boosted by Blake's unwavering confidence. Returning to the bridge, Blake watched as Earth's fleet assembled, a testament to human resilience and ingenuity. The first clash with the Zarkan Armada came swiftly. The Endeavour led the charge, its advanced weaponry cutting through the alien defenses. Explosions lit up the void as ships from both sides exchanged volleys. Despite the chaos, Blake's strategic acumen shone through, orchestrating maneuvers that kept the enemy off balance. "Captain, we've intercepted an alien transmission," Torres reported. "It indicates there's a traitor within our ranks, feeding information to the Zarkans." Blake's eyes narrowed. "Find them. We can't afford internal sabotage." The battle raged on as the crew of the Endeavour worked tirelessly to identify the mole. Each skirmish brought new challenges, but also victories. Blake's leadership was relentless, his tactical decisions keeping the human fleet in the fight. Finally, after hours of fierce combat, a breakthrough came. The mole was discovered. Lieutenant Harris, a communications officer with a hidden agenda. Confronting Harris in the corridors of the Endeavour, Blake's fury was palpable. "Why, Harris? Why betray us?" Blake demanded, his voice cold and controlled. Harris, cornered and desperate, revealed that his family had been taken hostage by the Zarkans. "They promised to release them if I helped them. I had no choice." Blake's anger was tempered by a grim understanding. "You'll answer for this, Harris. But first, we'll save your family." With the mole in custody, Blake turned his focus back to the larger battle. The integration of the alien technology began to show results, tipping the scales in favor of the human fleet. Blake's strategic brilliance and the crew's relentless effort began to break the blockade. As the chapter drew to a close, the Endeavour and its fleet managed to push the Zarkan Armada back, securing a temporary reprieve. The crew's spirits lifted, but they knew the fight was far from over. The revelation of the mole had shaken them, yet also steeled their resolve. The UNS Endeavour glided silently through the void, the crew still reeling from the recent discovery of Lieutenant Harris's betrayal. Captain Jonathan Blake stood resolute on the bridge, his mind a whirl of strategies and countermeasures. The traitor had confessed to providing critical information to the Zarkans, endangering not only the Endeavour but the entire fleet. "Commander Torres, have the engineering teams completed the integration of the alien technology?" Blake inquired, his tone sharp. "Yes, Captain. Dr. O'Connor reports that the new systems are operational and ready for deployment," Torres responded, her eyes reflecting the same steely determination that Blake felt. "Good. We need every advantage we can get. Prep the ship for our next move." The crew moved with purpose, each member understanding the gravity of their mission. As the ship powered up, Blake convened a meeting with his senior officers in the strategy room. The room buzzed with tension, yet there was a palpable sense of resolve among them. "Lieutenant Harris's betrayal has set us back, but it also gave us insight into the Zarkan strategies. Blake began, his voice carrying a mixture of anger and determination. We're going to use that information to our advantage. Dr. O'Connor stepped forward, a holographic blueprint of the alien technology appearing before them. The integration of the Zarkan tech enhances our shields and weapon systems. This gives us a fighting chance against their superior firepower. Blake nodded. We'll use this tech to spearhead an assault on their command ship, disrupt their chain of command, and the blockade will weaken. As the officers discussed tactics, a sudden alarm blared through the ship. Captain, multiple Zarkan vessels are approaching fast, Torres announced, her fingers dancing over the controls. Blake's eyes narrowed. All hands to battle stations. Prepare for immediate engagement. The Endeavor shuddered as it shifted into combat mode. The Zarkan ships appeared on the view screen, sleek and menacing, their weapons already charging. Blake issued rapid orders, orchestrating the defense with practiced precision. Target their lead ship. Fire at will, Blake commanded. The Endeavor's enhanced weaponry unleashed a torrent of energy, striking the alien vessel with pinpoint accuracy. Explosions rippled across its hull, but the Zarkans pressed their attack. Shields holding, but they're pushing hard, reported Lieutenant Reed from the tactical console. Divert power to the forward shields. Keep the pressure on them, Blake ordered. The ship rocked under the barrage, but the new technology held firm, giving them a crucial edge. As the battle intensified, Blake's strategic acumen guided the Endeavor through the onslaught. The ship danced through enemy fire, delivering punishing blows in return. Yet the Zarkans were relentless, their numbers threatening to overwhelm. Captain, we've got multiple breaches on decks 3 and 5, Torres called out, her voice strained. Seal off those sections and reroute power to stabilize the hull, Blake responded, his mind racing. Prepare for a full offensive. We need to break their line. The crew executed his orders with precision, and the Endeavor surged forward, its weapons blazing. The lead Zarkan ship buckled under the assault, its shields failing as explosions tore through it. Blake seized the moment. All ships, concentrate fire on their command vessel, he ordered, his voice echoing through the comms. The coordinated attack proved too much for the Zarkans. One by one, their ships fell back, unable to withstand the focused barrage. The blockade began to falter, cracks appearing in their once impenetrable line. We've got them on the run, Captain, Reed exclaimed, a rare smile breaking through the tension. Blake allowed himself a moment of satisfaction, but his focus remained sharp. Pursue and eliminate any stragglers. We can't afford to let them regroup. The battle raged on, but the tide had clearly turned. The Endeavor, with its crew's unyielding spirit and the advantage of the alien technology, had delivered a decisive blow. As the last of the Zarkan ships fled, Blake knew they had achieved a significant victory. But there was no time for complacency. The threat was far from over and the cost had been high. The Endeavor had sustained damage, and the betrayal within their ranks had left scars. In the aftermath, Blake gathered his officers once more. We've dealt a blow to the Zarkans, but they'll be back. We need to stay vigilant and prepare for the next encounter. Dr. O'Connor nodded, already considering further enhancements to their systems. We'll be ready, Captain. We've proven we can stand against them. Blake's gaze hardened. We have, but the real test is still ahead. This war is far from over, and we need to ensure that every sacrifice counts. The Endeavor moved cautiously through the debris field left from the recent battle, the crew working tirelessly to repair the damage sustained. Captain Jonathan Blake monitored the repairs from the bridge, his mind focused on their next objective. A direct strike at General Zyler's command ship. Commander Torres, what's our status? Blake asked, not taking his eyes off the tactical display. Shields are at 70%, and weapon systems are fully operational, Captain. Dr. O'Connor is making final adjustments to the alien tech integration, Torres replied, her voice steady. Blake nodded, satisfied with the progress. Good. We need to be ready for anything. Assemble the senior officers in the strategy room. We need to finalize our attack plan. Minutes later, the senior officers gathered around the holographic table, studying the schematics of the Zarkan command ship. Dr. O'Connor highlighted weak points identified through the captured alien technology. If we can breach their central power core, it will disable their ship and cause significant disarray in their fleet, O'Connor explained, his tone confident. Blake looked around the room, his officers' faces reflecting a mix of determination and exhaustion. This is our chance to deal a critical blow to the Zarkans. We've pushed them back, but this will be our most dangerous mission yet. The officers nodded, fully aware of the stakes. Blake continued, "We go in fast and hard. Commander Torres, you'll coordinate the fleet. Dr. O'Connor, make sure our systems are running at peak efficiency. Lieutenant Reed, I need pinpoint accuracy with our targeting." As they returned to their stations, a sense of anticipation filled the ship. The crew moved with purpose, each person knowing their role could be the difference between victory and defeat. Blake took a moment to speak to his crew over the intercom. "We've faced incredible odds and emerged stronger. This mission is our opportunity to end the Zarkan threat once and for all. Stay sharp, stay focused, and let's show them what humanity is made of." The fleet assembled, forming up behind the Endeavor as they approached the Zarkan command ship. The alien vessel loomed ahead, a formidable presence bristling with weaponry. Blake's heart pounded, but his focus remained unwavering. "Prepare for engagement. All ships, follow our lead," Blake ordered, his voice calm. The Endeavor surged forward, its newly integrated weapons blazing. The other ships followed suit, their combined firepower overwhelming the initial defenses of the Zarkan command ship. Explosions rocked the alien vessel, but it quickly returned fire, hammering the human fleet. "Evasive maneuvers. Maintain formation and keep the pressure on them," Blake commanded. The battle was fierce, with both sides sustaining heavy damage. The Endeavor weaved through enemy fire, its enhanced shields absorbing the brunt of the attacks. Blake's strategic mind worked at lightning speed, coordinating the fleet's movements and exploiting every weakness in the enemy's defenses. "Captain, we're detecting a buildup of energy in their central core. They're preparing for a massive counterattack," Torres warned, her eyes on the sensor readouts. Blake made a quick decision. "All ships, concentrate fire on the power core. We need to take it out before they can use it against us." The human fleet focused their attacks, their weapons striking the central core with relentless precision. The Zarkan command ship shuddered under the assault, its power core beginning to destabilize. Just as it seemed they might succeed, an unexpected transmission came through. "Captain Blake, this is Captain Reynolds of the UESF Valor. We have critical information about a secondary command structure within the Zarkan fleet. They're using it to coordinate their attacks independently of the main ship." Blake's eyes narrowed. "Where is this secondary command structure located?" "Sending coordinates now. It's heavily guarded, but if we can take it out, it will disrupt their entire fleet," Reynolds replied. Blake weighed the new information quickly. "Torres, redirect half our fleet to the new coordinates. We'll finish off the main ship while they handle the secondary structure." The fleet split, with the Endeavor leading the charge against the command ship. The alien vessel's defenses began to crumble, the combined human firepower proving too much. Finally, with a massive explosion, the central power core was breached, and the Zarkan command ship was crippled. As the main ship fell silent, Blake turned his attention to the secondary command structure. The other half of the fleet, led by Captain Reynolds, was already engaging the target. The battle was intense, but the coordinated assault proved effective. The secondary structure was destroyed, causing chaos within the remaining Zarkan fleet. "Captain, we're receiving reports of Zarkan ships retreating. They're in disarray," Torres announced, a note of triumph in her voice. Blake allowed himself a brief moment of relief. "Good work, everyone. Maintain defensive positions and prepare for any counterattacks. We've won this battle, but we need to stay vigilant." The crew began the process of securing their position and assessing the damage. The Endeavor had once again proven its resilience, and Blake knew that while they had achieved a significant victory, the war was far from over. The UNS Endeavour hovered in the silent expanse, its crew tending to the aftermath of their recent victory. Captain Jonathan Blake stood at the bridge, his focus now on the Zarkan fleet's remnants. Reports from the fleet confirmed that while the Zarkans had been severely crippled, they were regrouping for a counterattack. "Commander Torres, what's the status of our defenses?" Blake asked, his voice firm. "Shields are back to full capacity, and weapon systems are at 80% efficiency. Dr. O'Connor is finalizing the last of the repairs," Torres replied, her hands gliding over the console. "Good. We need to strike before they have a chance to regroup. Gather the senior officers for a final briefing," Blake ordered. The officers assembled quickly, the tension palpable but their resolve unwavering. Blake activated the holographic display, which projected the latest intelligence on the Zarkan fleet's position. "We've dealt a heavy blow, but the Zarkans are not defeated yet," Blake began, pointing to the cluster of enemy ships. "Their flagship is heavily guarded, but if we can take it out, we'll shatter their command structure for good." Dr. O'Connor interjected, "The alien technology we've integrated gives us a unique advantage. We can generate a focused energy pulse that could disable their shields temporarily. It's risky, but it might just work." Blake nodded, his mind racing with the possibilities. "We'll use it. This is our best shot. Commander Torres, prepare the fleet for immediate departure. Dr. O'Connor, make sure that Pulse is ready when we need it." As the officers dispersed to ready the ship, Blake took a moment to address the crew. "We're on the brink of victory. Stay focused and trust in each other. We've come this far together, and we will see this through." The Endeavour surged forward, leading the human fleet towards the Zarkan Armada. The enemy ships loomed ahead, their dark hulls bristling with weaponry. Blake's eyes narrowed as he analyzed the tactical display, searching for any weakness. "Commander Torres, execute the attack plan. All ships, engage at will," Blake commanded. The fleet erupted into action, lasers and missiles streaking across the void. The Zarkan ships responded in kind, and the space between the fleets became a maelstrom of energy and destruction. The Endeavour's newly enhanced weapons proved their worth, cutting through enemy defenses with precision. "Captain, the Zarkan flagship is powering up its main cannon. We need to disable it now," Torres warned, her voice urgent. "Dr. O'Connor, activate the energy pulse," Blake ordered. The Endeavour's hull vibrated as the pulse generator activated. A bright, focused beam of energy shot towards the Zarkan flagship, striking its shields. For a moment, the alien vessel seemed to resist, but then its shields flickered and collapsed. "Target their main cannon and fire everything we've got," Blake shouted. The human fleet concentrated their fire on the now vulnerable flagship. Explosions ripped through the Zarkan ship, tearing it apart piece by piece. The alien fleet, seeing their leader's ship disintegrate, began to falter. "Captain, they're retreating," Lieutenant Reed exclaimed, triumph in his voice. Blake allowed himself a brief smile. "Pursue them. We need to make sure they don't regroup." The human ships gave chase, systematically dismantling the retreating Zarkan vessels. It was a coordinated and relentless assault, and within hours the threat was neutralized. The Zarkan Armada lay in ruins, their blockade broken. Back on the bridge of the Endeavour, the mood was jubilant. Crew members exchanged relieved smiles and congratulatory pats on the back. Blake, however, remained focused. "Commander Torres, begin rescue operations for any survivors. We need to ensure that we've cleared the area completely," he instructed. As the crew set to work, Blake found a quiet moment to reflect. The cost had been high, and many brave souls had been lost. Yet their victory was undeniable. Earth was safe, and the Zarkan threat had been extinguished. Dr. O'Connor approached, his face weary but satisfied. "Captain, the repairs and upgrades held up well. We couldn't have done it without the crew's dedication." Blake nodded. "You did an outstanding job, Liam. Everyone did. We've proven that when united, we can overcome any obstacle."